Are you struggling to lose weight in your 40s and 50s? Well, so did I. And that's because with menopause, your metabolism is slowing down. Today, I'm going to share the exact 4 steps that have helped me and 13,000 women that I've worked with. There are no fad diets or extra cardio, just simple steps that you can take. Hello fam, my name's Melissa Neal and I am the CEO of Body by Bikini, and I've now helped over 13,000 women transform their bodies even though they're in menopause, in their 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond. And the main reason they're stuck before they come to me is their metabolism has slowed down. Has your metabolism slowed down? Well, you want to stay tuned to this video if it has. But the good news is, just like Kelly Klaus here that I'm showing with before and after pictures, her metabolism has slowed down, but the good news is she sped it back up by taking these 4 simple steps that I'm going to describe in this video. But first of all, let's hear from Kelly Klaus.
It's not just that I've gotten stronger and more energetic, but what has really surprised me is that I've become more resilient and confident in other areas of my life too. So it's like it's easier for me to assert myself at work now. And like I can do harder things at school because I know I'm capable of doing it. And I think that that is because of the discipline that I applied to this program. So it's like that focus that I applied to the program carried over into other areas of my life. So I'm able to be more focused and determined everywhere in my life. My family has been incredibly supportive and proud as well. People in my life have pointed out that the way I carry myself is changing.
Kelly thought that her metabolism had slowed down, but in actual fact, there are some steps that women in this age category can take to speed it up. And if you want to learn even more about this stuff, I actually have some free training. And if you watch the free training, I will actually throw in some bonuses that you can start today. So I'm going to leave that link below. So click the link below to find out more. But next, I'm going to tell you about these 4 simple steps to speed up your metabolism when you're perimenopausal, menopausal, or postmenopausal. But first off, why has your metabolism slowed down? Well, it's because of dropping estrogen levels, and it's because of natural muscle loss. So if you hadn't done anything about it, you would have lost 1% of your muscle mass every single year after the age of 40. So I'm 58. By now, if I hadn't done anything about it, but of course I have, I would have lost 18% of my muscle mass. And that's what causes our metabolism to slow down. Because if we don't have enough muscle on our bodies don't burn calories. And we need muscle. Muscle is the thing that burns calories, even when you're sat around and not exercising, when you're sleeping, when you're just doing nothing, muscle is going to be burning fat. And so this is why eating less and moving more just doesn't cut it anymore when you reach over the age of 40. What are the steps you can take to combat this and easily boost your metabolism without spending hours in the gym? Well, the first thing is prioritize protein. And many women don't do this and they don't kind of understand why it's important. But protein has something called a thermic effect. What that is your body is just simply burning calories simply by digesting protein, much more than carbohydrates and fats. So you can actually boost your metabolism by eating. Aim to get 1 gram of protein per pound in body weight, or if you weigh over 170 pounds, shoot for your goal body weight, and 170 pounds is about 80 kilos. When you're building a meal, look at how much protein to have. So put the protein as your priority, and then the kind of carbohydrates and fats are like, that's veggies, that's kind of starchy veggies as well, and rice and potatoes, and that's the kind of healthy fats in your diet. Now, I am going to link at the end of this video a video that tells you exactly how to eat. But first, let's talk about step number 2. Step number 2 is to prioritize strength training over cardio. And that's what I now do, and I didn't do when I was in my 40s. The reason being, cardio is actually going to deplete your muscle if you do too much of it. And also, certain types of cardio can spike your cortisol, which we don't want when we're in this stage of life, because too much cortisol is actually going to slow your metabolism down. So what you need to be doing is lifting weights 3 to 5 times a week. This will preserve and it will build muscle. It will carry on burning calories even when you're not working out, which is the beauty of lifting weights. You're going to get strong and toned, but you're not going to get bulky. It's impossible for women at this stage in life to get bulky. Step number 3 is support your hormones. And I'm talking about your hormone insulin. And what happens as you get older, you're much more prone to something called insulin resistance. And you can pretty much assume that your blood sugars are a little bit out of control, or maybe a lot out of control, depending on your own individual situation. How you actually combat that? You actually eat whole foods with plenty of protein and plenty of fibre. You want to reduce processed foods and refined sugar and things like refined carbohydrates like white flour. They are going to spike your blood sugar, and it's going to be harder to actually control your blood sugar, and therefore they're going to increase your insulin resistance. And what you want to be doing is the opposite of that, is you want to be stabilizing your blood sugar with those protein, healthy fats and complex carbohydrates. Step number 4 is prioritizing your sleep. So I get my clients to do this often, because a lot of the time as women over 40, we're just simply not getting in a good night's sleep. And what you want to be doing is practicing sleep hygiene techniques, because if you don't, poor sleep actually makes your metabolism worse. Or in other words, if you get good quality sleep, it's actually going to boost your metabolism. So you want to be practicing things like losing technology right before bed. You want to have a good bedtime routine where you go to bed and get up at the same time every day. And you can try something like magnesium as a supplement just before you go to bed. That can be really effective. Now, I've gone through all the 4 steps, but I'm going to talk about a bonus step, and that is walking for 10 to 15 minutes when you've consumed a meal, because it's actually going to work to control your blood sugars and stabilize your blood sugars if you go for that short walk, especially if it's a brisk walk right after eating. And it's also going to burn a few more calories, isn't it? These daily habits, they're not quick fixes, but I promise you, if you implement them, they're going to boost your metabolism, just like with me, just like with Kelly you saw at the start of that video. If you want to make it simple for yourself, start with just one of those steps and gradually build up from there. Let me know in the comments which step you would love to tackle first. And I've made you a video that shows you how to get a flatter stomach just by changing how you eat, which we did touch a bit on in this video, but I'm going to go into much more detail.